Harsh, will you be recording?
Yes, sir.
I think when everybody made the audio mute, you have to take care of at least 2 or 3 people to be on the.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, we don't know whether somebody is hearing or not. So 11:05, 11:06. So are we going to start now?
Please, sir.
Good morning, Shalini. You are muted, Shalini.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Shalini, that is Mr. Pradeep David on the screen.
Good morning, Mr. Davis.
Good morning, ma'am.
Pradeep David. He is a
Good
head of Asia Pacific Universal Robo, which is a Danish company. Shalini is COO designate of Capital Goods Skill Council.
Okay.
It's a delight to have you, Shalini, today.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mr. Pradeep, to be a part of this webinar.
Most
I think it's a
welcome.
wonderful initiative.
Thank you.
Mr. Chandramouli, sir, is driving.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Harsh, I think we are losing time.
So we can start, sir.
44 already joined. We should respect that.
Okay, sir.
So, or you want to make it 11:10? I think it's okay because the universal robo portion is critical. So they may be coming later for that, knowing full well that they already heard about Capital Goods Council. Some of them may be from the previous sessions. Okay, you can permit them, Harsh?
Yes, sir. The permission has been given.
Okay, so can we say before you record our usual 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 kind of thing? Harsh?
Yes, sir. We can start, sir.
You have to give the green signal. You can start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning to one and all. My name is Chandramouli and I'm welcoming all of you for this wonderful webinar today as part of the series of webinars of technology and training solutions for the self-reliant India, known in Hindi as ATMANIRBHAR Bharat, launched by none other than our Honorable Prime Minister a few months ago in the middle of Corona. And we are doing it under the auspices of Capital Goods Skill Council. And I would like to take you a little bit about the Skill Council. Before that, I would like to set the context for today's webinar, which we title as the Indian Factory of the Future. The subject is about Cobots or collaborative robos, which is abbreviated as Cobots. Imagine a team of robos and they are collaborating with human beings. So collaborative robos, they are a niche automation solution. They are the most efficient, cost-wise and purpose-wise, a very flexible and cost-effective way of doing automation for not only Western world, but also for the Indian factories. And factories, including MSMEs, during the Corona social distancing era, they're looking to automate and reduce external dependence. And especially back to track to achieve the ambitious Make in India plans. While robots have been around for decades, Cobots are much newer in the automation game, but they're already used by eminent manufacturers across the world. This unique technology allows business of all sizes to automate with ease, thanks to the small footprint, simple programming, high flexibility, and allows Cobots to be used for multiple applications across several sectors. Some of the ground realities of the new normal facing manufacturers operating in the COVID-19 era, who now have a host of new issues to address, and the need to deploy the right automation solution. I don't want to say low cost or high cost, but I say right cost automation solution as quickly as possible and to remain competitive and relevant to the market. I take the great pleasure in welcoming today's speaker, Mr. Pradeep David. He is a general manager for South Asia, including India, for Universal Robo. Universal Robo is a Denmark-based company and leading manufacturer of advanced, user-friendly and lightweight collaborative robo arms, Cobots as we called already. He is a highly qualified expert in robotics and industrial automation with a master's in robotics from Clemson University and MBA from Marquette University, America. With over 3 decades of experience, Pradeep has worked with Rockwell Automation in the United States, Singapore, as well as in India. In a short span of time, he has actually become a name to reckon with the setting up of heading the operations for the South Asian region for Universal Robo. Before we go into the webinar, I would like to take around 10 minutes to introduce the host of this webinar is Capital Goods Skill Council, where I happen to be the convener of Industry 4.0 Task Force and also looking after the ATMANIRBHAR BHARAT webinar series. What is Capital Goods Sector Skill Council? It is a council started by the Government of India through National Skill Development Corporation to define and develop national occupational standards, develop quality assurance parameters for assessments and certification of trainees, create the programs for training the trainers and training the assessors, and accredit those people on an annual basis, promote academics of excellence for the sector, establish structured labor market information system for both demand and supply of people for this sector, promote apprenticeship in various sectors and levels. I'm happy to inform you that Apprenticeship Act has been now handed over to the sector councils by the Government of India. Conduct skill competitions in alignment with India skills and world skills forums. And above all, very, very important during COVID era is developing online learning content e-skill. And what are these 10 subsectors? These are the large capital goods sectors: machine tools, metal cutting machine tools, metal forming machine tools, foundry equipment, forging equipment, machine tools, textile machinery, plastic machinery, process equipment, construction machinery, electrical equipment, material handling equipment, and last but not the least, automation equipment. This council is promoted by Government of India, National Skill Development Corporation, blessed by Department of Heavy Industries, and Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, together with several large associations such as IMTMA Machine Tools, Plastic Machinery Manufacturer Association, so on and so forth, together with many, many public sector organizations, together with many private sector organizations, and together with multinational corporations. And today, our COO, Ms. Shalini Singh, has joined, and she is driving the council. And the present chairman of the council is the head of Gainwell Commercials and Caterpillar Distribution, Mr. Sunil Chaturvedi, who himself happened to work with government for 2 decades as an IAS officer, followed by running his own company, which is based out of Delhi and Calcutta. Capital Goods Skill Council has accredited around 900 training centers, as we are talking, across the country over the last 6 to 7 years. And as you could see, the largest segment is in Maharashtra, followed by Uttar Pradesh, and so on and so forth. The many activities of the council, I don't want to go into all of them, but critical point is 94,000 students and trainees from industry have been assessed, and 67,000 have been certified. 893 trainers have been accredited, 463 plus assessors have been certified. We have alliances with 15 designated training of trainers centers, and we have alliances with 10 designated centers of excellence, and we have accredited 96 unique national occupational standards, which is nothing but the skill, curriculum and content, and 55 qualifications comprising these 96 NOS. We have alliances with state government, vocational training, and so on and so forth. Very, very important. The main objective of motivating the various skilled people across the country is through World Skill Competition and India Skill Competition. Unfortunately, due to the corona, this year, I think it is little going slow, but 6,600 people already registered even this year. And yeah, sorry, not 6,600, more than 1,500 have registered, 15,000 have registered, including CNC milling, CNC turning, CAD design, plastic dye engineering, which called the dye mold technology, and welding technology. You can see some of the humble people hailing from our rural background also can win the competition as they did in Kazan, Russia in 2019. Very, very important for many of the audience today. Please spread the message. You can log in into the National Skill Development Corporation and log in your biodata and apply for apprenticeship schemes. And many, many opportunities are created already on the portal, and many contracts have been already generated over the last 1 year. Without much ado, in the next 7 minutes, I would like to take you through why we are doing this series of webinars. All of you must be hearing this buzzword called Industry 4.0. What is Industry 4.0? It is nothing but the Ola and the Uber in manufacturing, the Swiggies and Zomatos in production. Imagine if all the mobile phones can capture the data, the production data, quality data, maintenance data, supply chain data, warehouse data, and so on and so forth. The data can describe what is going on today. The data can diagnose why it is going on, the way it is going on, the reasons thereof, the root causes. The data can capture algorithms to predict what will go on in the next few months to years regarding machinery, equipment, materials, men, and so on and so forth. And most importantly, the data can also enable you to take decisions and actions based on data analytics, advanced data analytics as we call it. Several technologies come under a bouquet of these data-based, data-driven technology, like the Olas and Ubers I mentioned, Swiggies and Zomatos. These technologies come under broadly 10 categories: artificial intelligence, additive manufacturing, augmented reality, system integration, cloud-based applications. Cloud means internet. Simulation solutions, both for production as well as for training. Internet of Things, which is nothing but the convergence of IT industry and operational technology. Industrial robots. Today's topic is about industrial robots. And I already mentioned about big data analytics. But Capital Goods Skills Council is not only focused on the technologies, as I mentioned, but looking at next generation job roles, as we call the future skills. You can see many, many names mentioned. To read out a few: advanced mechatronics engineer. It's a low-hanging fruit. In this country, there are many mechatronics engineers, but if they can upgrade themselves with digitalization and automation, together with mechatronics, pneumatics, and hydraulics, they become advanced mechatronics engineer. You can also see robotics and automation engineer, which is mentioned there. There is the augmented reality application specialist. There is a predictive maintenance engineer through artificial intelligence and machine learning, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to read all of them, but suffice to say, the top 10 skills, as you see in this slide, have been prioritized by Capital Goods Skill Council, of which we are creating the qualification profiles, which nothing but job description or description of the job roles, pre-qualification requirements, skill requirements, theoretical knowledge, practical knowledge, and above all, the placement into the respective companies in the future. Already some of these jobs are listed in Naukri.com, Indeed.com, etc. So please look for jobs in this area. They are highly paid jobs. At least for next 10 years, you can improve your salaries. Even during COVID era, some of the jobs are very, very relevant because they are all driven by the internet and the cloud. Given this background of skilling, Capital Goods Skill Council has roped in many, many partners, global partners such as Universal Robo today, such as Siemens, such as Fanuc, such as Festo, such as SMC, Fronius, and so on and so forth, including Schneider Electric, in order to bring the concept of digitization and automation to the various people through research and training. Many, many methodologies: e-learning technology, interactive training, webinars, interactive training, workshops, interactive training, master class, simulation-based training, augmented reality-based training. converting existing curriculum to online modules for traditional skills like turning, milling, welding, etc. And these alliances with global partners are making Capital Goods Skill Council being the forerunner in this particular effort. And from June onwards, we are driving these programs. And today is the fourth in the row of series of webinars. Please spread the message. And next time, I would like to see a much larger audience enrolling for these workshops. Many webinars have been done during the lockdown. I don't want to go into the details. Many regional councils and universities also, we participate through these webinars. Thank you so much. My email ID is given there, anchandramoli58@gmail.com. I'll also try to put it in the text box. If any of you have questions beyond this webinar or around this webinar, feel free to mail to Capital Goods Skill Council through Mr. Harsh Chavan, and also feel free to copy to me if you want, and we'll connect you to the right solution for your right requirements, and wish you all the best for this webinar. I hand over now the mic to Mr. Pradeep David, the business head of Asia Pacific, Universal Robo, a Danish multinational growing leaps and bounds in this country. Thank you very much, Mr. Pradeep. Welcome to you, sir, and I welcome to all the audience, and I thank Capital Goods Skill Council to host this platform. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Mr. Chandramoli, for the introduction, and really appreciate the Capital Goods Skill Council for this opportunity to talk to your members and participants in this webinar. So very quickly, I just want to ensure that the screen is visible. Can the video be seen?
You're yet to share, sir.
Yet to share. Okay, hold on.
I unshared, so you have to share.
Got it. 1 second. Okay.
Yes, sir. I can see your screen.
Excellent. Excellent.
Now,
Okay.
If you operate, yes, I can see your video also.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chandramoli. Once again, really appreciate the great work you're doing with, the Capital Goods Skill Council. And thanks once again for this opportunity on behalf of Universal Robots. Attendees, thank you for your time. Any questions you have, don't wait till the end. Just type it into the chat box. One of my colleagues is also online. She may help answer them. Otherwise, we will have a question and answer session at the end also. Okay. So what we're here to talk about today is collaborative robots, and hopefully you can see something behind me out there moving around. Yes, I'm in the home office, and a collaborative robot is exactly that. Highly flexible. I can operate it from the house if I wanted to, move it around in my car, and what you're seeing on the screen is a cobot or a collaborative robot. Okay, so you may be thinking, why am I listening to cobots? Robots have been around for 60 years. The first robot was installed by General Motors in the US in 1961. 60 years ago approximately is when the first robot was introduced. So why are we talking about cobots today? Well, cobots are very different. Okay, and hopefully in the next 1 hour, we will introduce you to this exciting field of collaborative robots. Notice the elegance. Just one simple pedestal, you mount it on it. There's no fencing around because it's safe to operate next to a human being. Unlike a robot where robots have been known to kill people, right? We even heard of the accident in Manesar at the Maruti plant where one of the robot technicians got pinned against the fencing and killed. This can't happen with cobots. Collaborative robots are safe to operate alongside your operators. You can move them around. In this case, you can see it's just doing a palletizing application, picking boxes, placing them, right? So let's go on this journey of what a collaborative robot is, okay? So since the COVID era, we do have to start with COVID-related stuff. So let's get that out of the way first. Here are cobots, collaborative robots, being used for various purposes in combating COVID. So on the top left, you see this is in the NTU University in Singapore, where a collaborative robot's mounted on a trolley kind of a thing, and it's dispensing fluid, dispensing and cleaning the area where, let's say, there was an infection. Or on the top right, you see that maybe there was an operator or there was a worker here, a finance person who was operating on this workstation and he got COVID, right? You don't want to send a person in there, so you put a cobot and it's got an ultraviolet wand and it's now sanitizing that location, okay? So I like to say, robots are known for the 3 Ds, jobs that are dull, dirty, and dangerous, right? Dull jobs like this spraying, right? Dirty, where I could get infection, right? Dangerous, like in this case, for example, it's taking a throat swab of the person, right? So dull, dirty, dangerous is known for robots, but I add 2 more Ds to it. Difficult jobs, So we have, for example, loading parts into a leak testing machine at our 2-wheeler companies in the country. Very difficult to do for an operator. A crankshaft may have a very difficult shape, and to insert it into the leak testing machine, remove it for 8 hours a day, pretty difficult, okay? So difficult jobs, and finally jobs where distancing is required. Today, you and I are in the COVID era, we have to abide by government laws. And the government says, hey, you need to have 6 feet distancing between people, right? Cobots automatically give you that distancing, right? Bottom right, you see a cobot that was used in Spain at one of these automotive companies. I think it was Seat. And Spain had a lot of infections 2 months ago. So they repurposed the robot, the cobot rather, and it is now making respirators there. You can see the first respirators rolled out and everybody's applauding it. So I hope you get the idea. When you buy a cobot, it's not like a robot that's fixed on one machine doing the same thing over and over again, right? It's really a tool that you can move around based on your requirement. Okay, you can even use it as a cook, as a chef, let's say, to make dosas for you, okay? We'll show you videos of that later on. So it's that flexible. Like you can see, I've got it running in my house, right? Just brought it in my car, hooked it up to the current, single phase power, programmed it, and it's up and running, okay, in a matter of minutes. So 4 main messages here. Number 1, I already talked about social distancing, right? You can see this is a lady in Bajaj. Rahul Bajaj had the vision that, hey, I want to have 50% of my workforce needs to be women. In India, if you look at the statistics in manufacturing science, it's about 26%. So we're actually giving up a lot of good labor because of the kind of culture we are and the safety and security and all these other things that we have in India. Well, he had the vision as a great leader to have 50% of his assembly line to be women. Now, women had one issue. They had to tighten 800 bolts a day. Their hands were getting tired, physically very demanding. So they put cobots in, okay? Number 1, it gave them social distancing, 6 feet between people. Number 2, her job is now elevated. She's now able to do the quality control instead of the brute force work, okay? And it also helps in women empowerment in this case, okay? So social distancing is one aspect, quick deployment and redeployment. So deployment is, okay, I brought this cobot in my car, set it up, that's deployment, right? But what happens if this is a factory and I've now got 20 CNC machines and operator number 17 on machine 17 didn't show up today. He has COVID or some problem there. Well, am I going to be dependent on that one absent operator and my entire production line stalls? Well, no, I can take a cobot, hook it up on station number 17. It can now be producing parts for me, all right? Exactly what you can see L'Oreal in Pune is doing. This was not a machine. This was actually like an end-of-line palletizing system. So they were able to relocate it from one shampoo line, which demand was low, move it into another shampoo line in the same shift. Just remove 4 bowls, 2 people carry it and move it there and set it up and it's ready to go, okay? So now I'm sure your brains are thinking now, wow, with that, I can show that my return on investment for a capital goods purchase such as this can be very, very compelling. Because I'm not restricted to one application, I can actually use it in the night shift in one application, in the day shift in another application. So, okay, so these are the benefits that you have with the cobot. Democratized automation. I think Mr. Chandramouli pointed this out. And we show out here a lady, she's just notice she's not a robot programmer. She's just an operator that works in an SME in Pune. And on her machine, we have put a cobot. So we've given her teach pendant. And she says, oh, I don't know how to do all this stuff. I said, we asked her, do you know how to do WhatsApp on your phone? Sure, she can do WhatsApp on her phone. Well, then you can also program a collaborative robot. Okay? And we showed how to do that. Now, I know this is the Skill Council. Don't let this fool you that I don't need any skills to handle this. I will list out the kind of skills you need, but it's important to note, because people have this fear, hey, robots are going to come and my job is going to go. Or how are we going to deal in India where low-cost jobs are going to go? Well, frankly, you are not going to be competitive in a manufacturing environment by doing the non-value added work. Just to say that I've employed 50,000 labor. Well, the next thing you know, your doors are shutting down because you're not competitive. The way you can be competitive is improve your productivity, improve your quality, raise everybody along with you. Okay, so this lady who used to just operate a machine, she used to operate a turning machine, then she became a CNC operator. Today she's become a robot programmer. Okay, so that's the beauty of this technology. I don't need to be a robot programmer to do this. I can take the existing workforce along with me, and it's safe. Notice she's working right next to it. And finally, there's something called partial automation, which is the top right. In this, you notice that a cobot is actually dropping bottles into a box, and the man is holding the box open. Now, this is a very, very important concept called partial automation, or what we also call human-robot collaboration. The human and the robot are working hand in hand with each other. Why is this important? Well, in fact, why couldn't I have removed this person and put an automatic box making machine and a conveyor and all that? Well, the project just became 2 or 3 crores because I have to do automation of my entire plant. Who has that kind of money today coming out of COVID? Well, what we're saying is, if you have, say, 25 lakhs, put one cobot in, let it start doing the heavy lifting, the dull, dirty, dangerous, difficult, and where distancing is required, let it do those work. And high cost equipment, don't worry about it now, do it when you can. Put a human being to do it because humans and cobots can work safely together. Okay. Later on, maybe 6 months down the road, my business is booming. I can afford another 25, 50 lakhs. I can start automating the rest of my plant. Okay. So beautiful concept. Get started now with partial automation with the limited budget that everybody has today. Okay. Very, very powerful concept. So hopefully this is clear because these are the 4 major messages I want to give you today. Cobots allow social distancing. You can deploy them and redeploy them very quickly within a shift if you require. It's democratized automation. So yes, I did give an example of Bajaj. You may say, hey, I'm a SME, I'm not Bajaj. Well, no problem. Here's an SME that is doing exactly what Bajaj is doing. Okay, they're also loading and unloading using this because they can afford it. Democratized automation. And then the usual excuse, I don't have the funds to do it. Well, if you have the will, there's a way, because we support partial automation, right? So with a small budget, 20, 25 lakhs, you can get started. Get started with Industry 4.0. Start the journey now and start building on it. We'll give you several stories of how SMEs have done this in India. Okay. So with that, I'm going to actually run a small poll and make sure everybody's awake. So a quick 15-second, 30-second poll I've got going. It says, are you currently a robot user? So please start answering this. And I'll give you another 15 seconds to answer. Okay, I can see the answers are slowing down now. So maybe last 5 seconds, put in your poll. Okay, that's about 40 seconds. So we'll stop there and I'll say end polling. And the answer, I don't know whether you can see it on your screen. It says 30% are current users of robots, 70% are not. Okay, so kind of what we expected. Usually it's 80-20, but it's 70-30. So 30% of you have said, I use robots currently, and 70% says no. Sorry, I have to share the results. Okay, so there's the results. 30% of you say, yes, I use robots, and 70% say no. So good. Hopefully we can get started on this journey. I think you're spending your time today to learn about cobots. So let's do this, okay? Thank you for your answers there. Moving on to the next slide. why my system is not moving forward here. Okay. Let's just look at a little step backwards and look at the demographics of robots. So the International Federation of Robots is the big guy in this business, and they've done a study that says that, hey, if I take a look at 10,000 manufacturing employees, 10,000, okay, then there are companies like Singapore and Korea which have about 800 robots deployed per 10,000 employees. Okay, and you may be looking at this and you see China's 140. The world average is 99. You must be wondering, where is India in this, right? Anybody wants to guess how much India is, the number of robots per 10,000 employees? Well, it's on the next slide. You can see right here, India is at 4 robots per 10,000 employees, okay? So we are actually 25 times below the global average of robot adoption. Okay? There's many reasons for that. You may say that labor is cheap in India. Not so anymore. Labor is getting expensive. Labor is abundant was another thing. Not so anymore. With COVID, many of the labor are not coming back from the villages. I can tell you many SMEs that I deal with on a daily basis say, I've got big problems with labor. You know, I've got orders, I'm not able to produce. So many of these things that we were hiding behind, you know, that, hey, my people are not educated, I need to give them jobs. Well, you know, in the first industrial revolution, if we said, we were, remember, all our forefathers, 90% of us were in the farms, working in the farms, right? So when the industrial revolution came and somebody said that, hey, if we start moving out of farms, we're going to go hungry. Is that really what happened? We're in the 4th industrial revolution. How many farmers do you really know today, you know? And have we all gone hungry? I don't think so, right? We have just, our jobs have changed from farming jobs. They've gone to higher level jobs, right? The AI and the computers and all these things have changed. I think you all know this. So the same concept here, I think we need to take off the blinders. You know, we compare ourselves with China, right? We want to be the next manufacturing hub, but look at the numbers. Look at the reality on the ground. They're at 140, you know, robots per 10,000 employees. We're sitting at 4. Okay, so I think it's a time that we understand as a country that we have a lot of work to do here. We have a lot of skilling to do, bringing our people up. We have a lot of people to accept this technology. And I'm very happy to tell you that I'm going to share with you Indian stories now on people who are realizing the benefits of cobots and gladly adopting it in their manufacturing conditions. Okay. So let's start with universities. Okay, so I know many universities are attending today. I think some of you may be professors. The top left is PSG College in Coimbatore. So they have a very nice robotics program, mechatronics, etc. And this gentleman, I think he's a dean or something, he's talking about how his students are learning about collaborative robots, you know. And this is the professor and head, Dr. Vinod, good friend of mine, how he teaches his students how he feels safe, you know, welding applications. They do a lot of welding there. In fact, they have a PhD program, a person who has done 30 years of welding in BHEL. And he has brought his expertise to PSG College, and they do PhD programs, etc. You know, so I can't take you through all this, but you see a student programming it. Notice they're taking it from classroom to classroom on a trolley. Okay, so I can move it around from one classroom, and the next classroom needs it, or the next school needs it, or I've got an MSME presentation, I can use it. So fantastic for universities, and some government official is here. He's also looking at cobots. How do we skill Tamil Nadu, you know? He is coming and seeing what collaborative robots are doing, okay? On the top right, you see IIT Kanpur is doing a pick challenge, Amazon pick challenge. So I don't know what's in this box. SAP gives me an order. I need to go pick up, let's say, a box of Cadbury's chocolates or a bar of Cadbury's chocolates. So the robot gets the instruction. Here are the IIT Kanpur students who've programmed it with a vision system. It goes now, finds the chocolate or whatever it is, hat, and picks it up with a suction gripper. It could be in any orientation, and makes some decision. I need to put it in box number 1, box number 2, box number 3 for shipping, right? So you can see while this girl on the left is being taught how to program very easily with just by showing the cobot how to do things, the one on the right is being used with a high-level programming, you know, with ROS programming and Python programming, So yes, it can be very simple for my uneducated operator to operate. Yes, I can make it pretty complicated and use it to teach Python or ROS with low-level interface to the robots, etc., like IIT Kanpur is doing. Or here's a school in the US, Ramtech. It's like a technical school. And you can see that here are people coming in for training on Cobots, right? It's a proud legacy of automation. I think this is somewhere in the Chicago area. You can see that the instructor is teaching using a simulation software, right? And by the way, the simulation software is free. So if you as an university are watching this, want to get started, go to our website, download it today and get started. There's nothing preventing you. There's no cost to getting started, okay? So, so this is showing you basically how they're teaching students very safely, multiple students are sitting around, multiple robots, they're doing various projects, highly affordable. And then to take it to the next level, Christiani is a company out of Germany. They do training systems. After all, Skill Council, Capital Goods Skill Council, you're not going to be training only on Cobots. You're going to be training on Festo. You're going to be training on Siemens. You're going to be training on, pneumatic valves, on hydraulics. Well, they've put a system with everything together, okay, including a Cobot. Okay, so if you are in the training profession, if you are in universities, basically you can't do without something like this, okay? You can do PhD programs with it, you can do MSME outreach programs, you can teach it in your classrooms, you can move it from classroom to classroom, right? So it's almost a no-brainer, and we have all kinds of customers all over India. I think my next slide, I think I show a couple more universities, VIT in Vellore Institute for Technology on the left, and Manipal Institute, where my son goes, actually on the right. They've got Cobot running. So anyway, I just thought Mr. Chandramouli had mentioned that many universities will be attending, students, etc. So I thought I'd share this with you, okay? So highly affordable for universities. There is an educational discount, which allows you to get started pretty easily. Come talk to us, okay? But we definitely are interested in skilling India, which means skilling our students, our people who are looking for jobs, get them to the level where technology is going, the future of manufacturing in Indian factories. All right. Just so that, it's not getting too one-sided, let me see, is there any question I can answer at this stage? Is there any question that's come in? Adya, maybe you can come in and tell me if there's any questions that have come in. Or Mr. Chandramouli.
Yes, sir. So one was, what is the approximate cost
of
a robot?
Fantastic. That's a good question. In fact, Mr. Chandramouli asked me yesterday the same thing. So to get started, basically, a small robot, like we have different sizes, right? A 3-kilogram robot, then there's a 5-kilogram robot, then there's a 10-kilogram, and then there's a 16. So the 3 kg, which is the smallest, can start anywhere around 15 to 16 lakhs, a brand new 15 to 16 lakhs. Now, for universities, we can work on something better because we do have, like, similar to when you go to a car, to buy a car, they have demo cars. So we do have some things that we can look for more attractive pricing. But frankly, it's not very expensive for the kind of work that you can do with this, starting at 15, but it can go anywhere up to 25 lakhs depending on what you want to do. I want to put a camera on there. I want to put but let me explain a little bit more about what comes with it so that you can understand. There is nothing else you need to buy other than this system. It comes with the PLC, it comes with the IO, it comes with all the internet industry 4.0 connections, which means TCP/IP, Ethernet IP, Modbus, TCP/IP, everything comes free of cost with it. Safety IO, and I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of other things, analog IO, digital IO, all that comes with the collaborative robot itself, a full control system, standalone, okay? So if you're an SME now and saying, what is the benefit of this? Now, if I put a robot in, okay, which is what people have done till, let's say, the last 5 to 10 years, well, a lot of my shop floor space goes away with the caging. That's mandated by the government because I need to keep my operators safe, right? So I need to put this big fence around it. Whereas look on the right-hand side, there's no fencing. The collaborative robots is on casters. I can move this feeder thing around from machine to machine, right? you can never imagine moving this robot around from location to location. It'll probably take you a week of shutdown, 3-phase power connections, a fork truck to pick it up from here, grout it in the other place. You don't need that with a cobot. Okay, I can just move it around, very flexible, right? So many MSMEs are gravitating to this technology because of the amount of space we save them. I mean, I'm saying MSMEs, but frankly, even big companies like Bajaj, Unilever, who are using cobots, they love the fact that it uses so little space. Okay, I think space is a premium anywhere you go in the world, particularly in India. So space savings is one of the big advantages. Mr. Chandramouli told me that plastics is one of the verticals that you focus on. So I just put a few plastics examples here. Hopefully my videos are playing. But you can see that these are injection molding machines where the cobot is just being used for a simple pick and place application, right? So I'll just let you view the various injection molding machine. This is a robot mounted on the top. You can see that it's got parts that it's loading, unloading. There's a conveyor going, right? So
There was another question on can cobots be used for CNC machine tending? So the answer is yes, but a second part of that question, how can we get it ready to operate on? And what is the budget and operations idea?
Good question, good question. So does it work with CNC machines, and what would it cost and how would it look like? So I think you've preceded me by 2 slides. So sir, whoever asked that question, give me 1 minute, I'm coming to that answer. It's in my slide. So once again, robot on the left, cobot on the right. Do you see the difference? Okay. Do you see that the big fence is there? That much space is gone. You can't use that space for anything else, right? No fence here. Notice the guy who's moving it around. He's your regular shop floor operator. This is not some guy that I've sent for school or KUKA school for 6 months to learn how to program robots. No, it's my operator on the shop floor who is going to program my cobot. We will show you how to do that. Okay, I can move it around from location to location. So I like to think that a picture says 1,000 words. Hopefully you can see the difference between an industrial robot and a collaborative robot. There's many more. The power this uses, for example, think about the amount of power UR5, a 5 kg payload cobot will consume. Make a guess. 150 watts. 150 watts. It's like a light bulb that I have in my office here. Okay. Whereas this would probably use a few kilowatts, right, of power because of all the 3-phase and the heavy motors, and because it's all a cast iron structure, right? We've got a much lightweight unit, so the power consumption is lower. You may say that's not a big deal. Well, when you look at it for the 7, 8, 10 years lifetime of this, well, it's a huge deal. And we've done ROI calculations. When you do an honest calculation, there is no comparison between an industrial robot and a collaborative robot. Okay. Don't just look at upfront costs. Now, technically, it's a specification called ISO TS 15066. Okay. I won't bore you with this. If you're interested, just go to the internet and download this thing. This is what the specification that the ISO has come out with, which allows humans and robots to work with. Okay, so it's a full 1-day class to understand that, so I won't spend too much time. Many other certifications like TUV Node, etc.
Nasza fabryka od ponad 20 lat zajmuje się konfekcjonowaniem.
Talking in Polish, so I'll turn the volume down. But this is a Unilever. By the way, we have 40 robots in Unilever in India. But they've not permitted us to do any shooting there, so can't show you a video, but the Poland guys have allowed us. Notice that they're packaging these tea bags, you know, and I'll just take you to a little fast forward. You can see the cobot is mounted on a pedestal, and what it's doing is taking boxes and stacking them in a pallet. Okay, so very, very simple. I think they bought 6 of them in this particular example. Let me show you. Okay. Yeah, this is what the teach pennant looks like. Okay, and this is interesting. Notice that it's putting a box somewhere in a pallet. And now I want to program it. Let's say I've got an uneducated person that needs to program this, okay? So take a look at what this guy does. Slightly ahead. Okay, here. Notice that the operator is holding the cobot by hand with the box and saying, I want you to place it here. And then he hits the enter button and it remembers it and repeats the motion. Okay, so that's how much of a programmer you need to be. Okay, you can actually take unskilled labor, no education, and show him how to hold the robot, move it to the location you want it placed, and it will do that. Okay, so once again, that may look like, hey, no skills are required. Not true. Because the higher value add things that you do, like IIT Kanpur did the bin picking application, you can't do it with that simple method of programming that I just said. Now you have to get into software. You have to get into Python programming. You have to get into ROS. ROS means robot operating system, wherein I send low-level commands to control every joint the way I want to. Okay, that can be done. You need to be a bit of a programmer to do that. Okay, so I hope you're getting the concept. While we say it's easy to program, to become an expert in this, right, you really need to get some skills. You need to have Python programming skills. You need to have some PLC skills for interfacing signals, right? You need to have some mechanical engineering skills, because how you design your gripper is very important, right? That can make or break your project. Or in this case, he's got a camera sitting on top of the cobot, right? So how do I interface the camera to the robot? So now it becomes a little higher skill level, okay? So I hope I made that clear. While I talk about low skills required to run it, you need really high skills to do efficient programming of a cobot. Now, the question that Adya asked, that some gentleman in the audience just asked, how do I do this on a CNC machine? So let's take a look at a CNC machine project, okay? So I've got, and this is happening all over India, where people say, I'm not able to fill my night shift. Nobody wants to work at night, okay? So they do this, they just put a little input template, and the bar stock is loaded in these holes. The robot now picks up the bar stock and does the automatic gauging. Okay, it's doing the length check and diameter check and whatever else it needs to do. It picks up the part and now it's waiting. Notice that there are two grippers, okay, on the robot. Now it's waiting for the finished part, goes in, picks out the machined part, all automatic. Notice there's no human being around, and loads, indexes and loads the bar stock, the raw material, okay? Okay, so now it comes out and door closes, it hits the start button automatically of the CNC machine and it's off and running. Now it deposits the machined part in the output tray. Okay, do you see how this can work for you? If you have a machine shop, just to get something like this inserted, we can probably come in 2 weeks and get this project done for you. Okay, many of our distributors have a collaborative robot on their shelf. Okay, we just need to put a pedestal like this, okay? You need to provide us some form of input, okay? Such that the input bar stock, maybe it's a conveyor belt, a gravity feed chute, whatever it is. In this case, they put it in little, I don't know what you call this, feeder system, let's say, right? So as long as you can give us the input and you give us the output, right? Where do I need to put it? For us to do this job, by the time you place the order, get it in your system, and get it running, I guarantee you in 2 weeks we can have this running. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. How long will it take? Many SMEs have problems with payments. So these people are actually printing money because they could not run a third shift. Today they're getting production out of third shift, right? So if you need financial plans, right, that you can pay out of the profits that you're gaining by putting a cobot, talk to us. We have connections with people like Siemens Finance, right? That can help finance your project. So you actually see no cash down, no negative cash flow, and yet you're future-proofing your company. I have SME customers, for example, doing this job for multinational company clients like Bosch. And Bosch has told them, look, if you do not automate your plant next year, don't expect me to increase your orders in any way. Okay? In fact, I'm going to start reducing. So there's a lot of pressure on SMEs to jump on the Industry 4.0 bandwagon, right? So for a small investment like this, let's say 20 lakhs, right? You can put UR5 cobot in there with some grippers in, do some little jugaad with making sure that I have an input and output tray, and I can show my client, I've got a cobot. I'm Industry 4.0 compliant now, right? I've got much better quality and productivity. You want me to run through the night shift? I can do that, okay? So this is the benefits that are so powerful that I'm going to share some stories on how some SMEs have seen this value, right? And once again, it's not the cash, it's not the upfront cost that's going to deter you. It's, are you ready to start? That's the important thing. Are you willing to take the plunge to get started? Okay. So let me give you an example of one company such as you, a small SME that has done this in Gujarat. So let's take a look at this video. Oh, sorry, I've turned the volume off.
Welcome to Ahmedabad, India's fastest growing city. This small city is home to some of India's biggest textile manufacturers. An industry that was established here as early as the 19th century.
The entrepreneurship talent over here was able to bring the mechanized manufacturing almost 140 years ago. I am Ashish Nagarshet, a managing director with SMEW Textile Machinery Private Limited. We are a textile machine manufacturer based in Ahmedabad, India. SMEW was started in 1958 and it's been our family business since then. We make textile winding machines. Our main product is the soft package winding machine, the rewinding machine, and some customized machines for winding as well. Gone from MSME to SME, which is a small and medium scale enterprise from a micro scale enterprise.
In January 2017, SMEW Machinery decided to purchase and deploy the UR10 Cobot by Universal Robots.
A universal robot with its simplicity and non-fencing requirement met our requirements specifically for this machine. The UR10 robot is basically being used for a pick and place application. So our operators find it very, very easy to use. It's on a different level as far as operator friendliness is concerned.
મારું નામ ચૌહાણ છત્રજી જસવંતજી છે. હું એસેમ્બલરમાં 5 વર્ષથી નોકરી કરું છું. એનું પ્રોગ્રામિંગ અમે ઈઝી કરી શકીએ છીએ. મેન્યુઅલી કામ કરી શકો અમે એકદમ સ્પીડમાં કરી શકીએ છીએ. પ્લસ એમાં એક્સિડન્ટ યુનિવર્સલમાં થઈ શકતા નથી. નહીં એટલું બધું નથી.
The safety features were the most important part. The second important fact was the UR10 robot has a 360-degree movement in all the directions, which a normal industrial robot would not have. And that was one of the reasons why it could move in a very constrained space. The advantage with this application for us is that we are able to run the machine for much longer hours than what we would be doing using human labor. Before the robot was installed, we were making about 30 pieces a week. Now we are able to go from 30 pieces to almost 80 to 90 pieces per week. So that's a jump of almost 3 times. It's been very good for us because the return on investment is less than 12 months. We hope to have a long-term relationship with Universal Robots. We look forward to investing in more robots in the future and working along with the robots together.
Just like Ashish, at SMEW Machinery, many more small and medium-scale enterprises are choosing the Universal Robots Cobots as an affordable solution to take their operations to the next big milestone.
So I hope after this seminar, we will have more satisfied MSME owners like Ashish. Adya, any questions came in?
Yes, I think Mr. Chandramouli is back, so he might ask you some.
Okay, Mr. Chandramouli, any questions that you feel would be appropriate at this time?
Maybe he dropped again, but one question, sir, was are cobots only suitable for pick and place applications, or are there any other applications? And one was specifically about welding, if they're suitable for welding.
Good. Both of those are addressed. Very good questions. What other applications other than pick and place can they do, like welding, etc.? So once again, my request, please hold on for a few slides because I've got a slide addressing exactly that, right? So I'll come to that in just a minute. Good question.
Yeah, actually, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chandramouli, go ahead.
No, I'm Chaitanya here. I'm not Chandramouli.
Okay, yes, yes.
And you from Comscope, Goa.
Yes.
This is your cobot is having, all of them are having 6 axis or anything less than that?
All 6 axis. I'm sorry, I didn't clarify that. These are only 6 axis robots. And basically articulated arms are what we call them. And yes, it comes with 6 axes only. There's no 4-axis or 2-axis or 3-axis. Yeah. Good question. I also forgot to mention that the IP rating is IP54, right? IP54 meaning it can be used in dusty environments and where splashing water is there. You cannot have a water jet put in there, but you can have water, splashing water is okay. I'll show you some examples of that. So IP54 rated. The accuracy is another usual question that people ask, what kind of repeatability do these cobots have? So typically it's 100 microns, which is 0.1 mm, but we have systems called the E series, our latest one, which can go up to 30 microns. Okay, so we just need to understand your application, but generally the more affordable cobots that we have are 100 microns, right?
Sir, there is one more question from one of our audience.
Yes.
They are asking that currently they are working on a cycle time of 24 seconds maximum for engine or vehicle assembly.
Yes.
How they can use cobots to optimize on these applications?
So yeah, we will need to understand the application because we'll need to understand what the part is, what distance does the robot need to move, what's the center of gravity. So it's a little bit more, I can't give an answer, but 24 seconds takt time, we are doing pretty standard on many of our customers like Honda and Bajaj, etc. So I would request that customer to get in touch with us with more details. We'll need the part dimensions. We'll need to know the machine spacing. What is the distance the robot needs to move, and we can come up with an answer. Yeah.
One more question is there, sir, that does educational robots come along with training programs for trainers?
We can help you with that. I have 3 master trainers with me in my team. One is sitting in Noida, one is sitting in Pune, and one is in Bangalore. These guys have been to Denmark and they are experts and they are master trainers. So it's a matter of 2 days. We can take a smart person from your side. We've got the full curriculum ready and we can train you on that. We do it all the time. That's how we did it for all the IITs, for the Manipal, all these people, right? So yes, we can help you with all that for the education side.
So I think Mr. Chandramouli suggests we do the Q&A in the end. So okay. I think your presentation will cover a lot of the questions. That's why. Okay. So we'll leave some more to the end.
Okay. Okay. And just to make sure on the timing, I'm supposed to finish by what time, Mr. Chandramouli? Is it 12:30?
Sir, you can comfortably go up to 12:30.
Okay.
Now that you handled some more questions already,
yes.
I can give you time up to 12:40 also.
Okay, sir.
What happened is I lost my internet connectivity for half an hour.
Oh my gosh, I lost mine for a fraction of a second too.
Correct. You lost a fraction and something fell down in your home. And I was wondering why my internet should get disconnected when something falls down in your home. Anyway.
That's new technology, sir.
It's a new connectivity, IoT. Now, then I realized the internet itself gone. So all my questions in the box are gone.
Oh.
Okay. So at 12:30, Adya and Harsh will handle the balance questions.
Sure. No
but
problem.
I do have questions at 12:50.
Okay.
If the people already finished their questions.
Okay, sir.
Mine will be more on the macro, sir. If people already asked, that's fine.
Okay.
You can tell me it's been already covered in the half an hour I missed. Otherwise, these are questions which everybody is asking across the world.
Sure. No problem.
There are 3 questions. I will come to at 12:50. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. So continuing,
please continue.
Yeah, when you decide, like you saw, if you decide you're a CNC manufacturer and you put in a cobot, right? One of the things you will feel proud of is you're putting one of the top 50 disruptive technologies into your plant, okay? Notice 5G, blockchain, AI, all these come in the top 50 disruptive technologies, right? You will not see robots, the standard industrial robots anywhere here because that's 60-year-old technology. Okay? However, collaborative robots in advanced manufacturing and automation finds a slot, right? So as you make a decision in a university or in an SME or whatever to put a cobot in, you're helping future-proof your organization. You're bringing next generation technology, which is acknowledged as one of the 50 disruptive technologies. Okay? It is also part of Industry 4.0. Now, this is not an Industry 4.0 lesson, but Industry 4.0 is pretty complex and it's defined by 26 different levers, right? By people like McKinsey. I'm only going to focus on one. And that one lever is related to labor, the value driver of labor, and it's called human-robot collaboration, okay? So in a simple nutshell, for an SME, if you're wondering, how do I get started on this Industry 4.0? Well, when you put a collaborative robot in, you have started your baby steps towards Industry 4.0. Of course, there's a lot more that you can do. Predictive maintenance, routing, all these different things, okay? But there's always a time when we have to get started, right? So human-robot collaboration, which a Cobot supports, humans and robots working together, is the first step towards Industry 4.0 that we can assist SMEs to get started, okay? And you all know the budget now. It's like anywhere from 15 to 25 lakhs just to get started on this journey, right? All right, so next thing I will talk about is assembly, because one of the questions that just came up was, other than pick and place, what can Cobots do, right? So we'll come to welding in a minute, but this is an assembly line, okay? So, and I would call this an assembly line of the future. This happens to be in China, unfortunately, but we do have things in India, but our customers have not given us the permission to videotape them yet. Maybe it'll happen soon. But you see here, they have got a robot, human, or Cobot human. Automatic social distancing. There's more than 6 feet between these two guys. No problem with COVID. But that's not the reason they put it in. The reason they put the Cobot and a human being together in an assembly line is there's an MIT study done, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which specifies that when you have humans and robots working together, there's an 85% reduction in idle time. That's a huge, massive reduction in idle time, which consequently increases your productivity and quality. Again, we have documented that very diligently. But like I said, this is not a marketing spiel. This is a study done by MIT. And this is an example of this company that is making, it's called Shaman Rubber. I'll turn off the volume because some of it's in Chinese. But they make these faucets and different things for your bathroom, you know, taps and fixtures and those kind of things. You know, a lot of assembly, you have to put washers, you have to put a handle, you have to screw things together, shower caps, all that, you know. You can see the complex application that Cobots are used for in assembly, where you have many little parts to be put together. And typically in an assembly line, I have people working shoulder to shoulder. And that's a huge problem today with COVID, right? I have to put 6 feet distance between them. So now this is where a Cobot is going to be extremely beneficial. Not only is it giving you social distancing, it is also helping you with the fact that it acts like a pace setter. Okay, so if the operator goes for a coffee break or a chai break and his input buffer starts building up, his supervisor is going to be on his tail pretty soon. Hey, what's going on here? The robot's doing its job, you're not doing yours, and you're holding up the line, right? This is what helps with your idle time reduction, productivity improvement. So hopefully you're seeing what's on the screen. You can see it's a complex assembly part. It's a complex part being assembled completely by Cobots. Taking it out from a machine, maybe it's, you know, and here human and robot working together, okay? Here it's taking it out of a machine and then taking it for a different application, okay? The human being is doing something there. What I talked about, partial automation, humans and robots working together. Okay, I'll take you a little forward here. It's dropping the faucet handle, you know. Okay, I'll just go a little forward and you can see now. Okay, here, notice it's on a 7th axis. So while the machines may be far away, I'm moving the Cobot in real time from machine to machine, just by putting a slide in between, yeah? So these people didn't want to change the layout of their factory. They said, okay, I can't put 2 machines so close because you're a robot, but I'll put a slide like this and it can handle this machine and that machine, okay? So that's an example. Here's an example of how he's putting parts and the robot is taking the parts from the turntable and loading it into the whatever furnace there is there. Okay, now you can see here, this is not a robot programmer. He's just an operator and he is now moving a robot, putting 4 bolts in position, okay? And the different types of applications this company, they bought 60 robots, by the way, 60 collaborative robots in one shot to do this assembly application, okay? This is how they can turn out millions of faucets and be very, very competitive, you know? And by the way, they've not lost any labor for that. They've actually doubled and tripled the size of their factory because of this. Notice now if the robot accidentally hits the operator there, it doesn't kill him, it just stops. In Chinese, it's saying here protective stop, and you just hit restart and it starts from that location. Okay, in case you missed it, let me just do that again. It's just demonstrating how safe a collaborative robot is to work with your operator, so you don't need to worry about their safety. Yeah. Every axis is designed from ground up to be very, notice how he's doing programming it by moving it to a location and saying, I need you to pick up a part from here. Now he's filling up there, it's coming and hitting him by accident and stops. Okay, then he just hits the reset button here and it starts from that same location. Okay. All right, so that was assembly. Hopefully that's answering some of your questions. What all can cobots do? Okay. I think I've talked about this. It's very easy to maintain. You can self-maintain it, right? There's no oil to change, no grease to change. It's easy to program unless you get into the high-level programming, which requires Python code and skill set development. Every axis will move plus or minus 360 degrees. You can move it from machine to machine. I can mount it on the ceiling. I can mount it on the machine. I can mount it on a pedestal, right? Very low power consumption, etc. Okay. And by the way, it's not easy. That's why it was only introduced in 2016, this ISO standard, which allows robots and humans to work together. There's 65 patents built into this for a human being and a robot to work safely together. And by the way, we've deployed 46,000 of these cobots now around the world. And here are some examples that you can see on what applications cobots are doing. Okay, on one page, I can see that it's doing screw driving. On the top left, you notice it's the Bajaj Pulsar bike. Okay, I don't know if you saw it at the back. Those bikes are standing there, the Japanese Kawasaki or whatever, Pulsar anyway. And it's doing the screw driving application, automatic screw driving. Here also it's doing nut running. There's a camera, it's looking at the engine block and saying, oh, it's got 12 bolts. Now it's taking the nut runner and tightening that bolt. And the Newton meters is exactly right? The nut runner is then feeding it back to an SAP system against the VIN number of that chassis, of that engine, and your quality is therefore maintained. Once again, 6 feet distance between this girl here and the girl on the left or more. Automatic social distancing provided by cobots. Also helped with Mr. Rahul Bajaj vision of 50% women on his shop floor. Okay. Top right, I can see this is in France, Peugeot. Notice the cobot is mounted and goes under the belly of the car and it's doing the nut running. Okay, so it's a very difficult operation. A human being had to be under the ground for 8 hours a day. You just very simply, he's put a cobot in there and it's doing the job. Okay, you can see here, it's a patented application by them, by the way, and there you go, it's doing the nut running. Bottom left, we've talked about Bajaj, we've talked about Peugeot. Now you can see an MSME on the left. Look at his shop floor. Looks like any MSME, right? Because it's in some Chakan, some industrial park. He's got 10 machines and he's got a cobot there. So he had to make a decision. Do I want to put another machine, CNC machine, or do I put a cobot? He says, well, my problem is not machines. My problem is labor. I'm going to put a cobot in such that whether labor comes or not, I'm able to make my parts. I'm able to maintain the quality that the customer requires. I'm able to maintain my productivity. Okay, so here's a machine shop owner that has made that decision of putting cobots now. Okay, he's only got 10 machines, but he's put a cobot in. Bottom right, this is in Chennai, Udayam Dal. They make dal packets. This lady used to carry these dal packets and put them in a sack. Today, the robot is doing the heavy lifting, right? And all she's doing is now dragging out the sack ready for shipment. And she puts in a new plastic bag. Okay, very safe to operate next to it. In case it accidentally hits her, it just stops, no harm done. Okay. Okay, so like I said, this is not a big company like Unilever. This is a small dal company, Udayam Dal. Notice the background. It's just an SME. Okay. So if you're an SME, understand you can afford this technology. There's the ways you can finance this. It's only the desire to get started. Yes, I want to get on the Industry 4.0 bandwagon. I want to have the latest technology, 50 disruptive technologies. We call it the big equalizer. So you could be a Bajaj or a Tata, or you could be an SME. Cobots are for you. Okay. And here's more examples of SMEs, you know, New Engineering Works. This guy makes aircraft parts in Pune. This guy is doing some kind of painting applications. So you can see a quick video on that. He used to do the painting, and the quality was very bad when it was done manually, because you have to do exactly 8 coats of paint. Today, the painter himself is training the cobot how to paint. Okay? He's not a robot programmer. Now the cobot will start. It needs to do 8 coats. It can count exactly to 8. What the manual operator was doing on the left-hand side, it could be 8, it could be 10, it could be 6 coats. Because after 6 or 8 hours, he's tired. He's a human being. He gets a phone call and he gets distracted. And that gets rejected because of the quality, right? The laser etching doesn't happen properly. So he's talking about this SME owner. Maybe you can listen to him. He talks about how difficult it is to get labor that's reliable.
I put this universal robot into production. It's hardly 2 months. And what we have observed is we are getting a better quality product. The rate of rejections or rework have reduced drastically. And furthermore, we intend to increase the productivity also. What we were doing, let's say if we were doing X quantity previously with manual interface, now we are doing X plus 2 with the robo even running at 50% of the speed. So in a couple of months time, we'll increase the speed, and then of course we'll go almost 1.5 times what we were getting previously with the human interface.
Okay. I think there was some irrigation. So if you see here, we have CNBC talked about one of our customers using cobots.
Gosh. कोरोना और लॉकडाउन से प्रवासी मजदूरों की कमी दूर करने के लिए अब छोटी मझोली कंपनियां यानी एमएसएमईज भी कोबोट यानी कोलैबोरेटिव रोबोट्स का सहारा ले रही हैं। कैसे, देखिए इस खास रिपोर्ट में।
ये तस्वीरें बंगलुरु की काम करने वाला ये एक कोबोट है। कारीगर की तरह ही ये फैक्ट्री में लगी मशीन पर एक जगह से दूसरी जगह सामान उठाकर रखता है। कोरोना और लॉकडाउन से मजदूरों की कमी दूर करने में कोबोट बड़ा सहारा बनकर उभरा है।
कोविड के लॉकडाउन के बाद इरिगेशन प्रोडक्ट्स जो एसेंशियल कैटेगरी में आते हैं उनका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का परमिशन गवर्नमेंट ने दिया है, और बहुत से फार्मर का रिक्वायरमेंट भी था और बहुत से डीलर और डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स का डिमांड भी था मार्केट में। तो जो रोबोट के फंक्शनिंग के वजह से जो एडिशनल बेनिफिट हमें लेबर कमी होने के बावजूद जो प्रोडक्शन हुआ है उसका बहुत बेनिफिट हुआ है।
So that was a little bit about an SME in Bangalore using this. So from a concept standpoint, partial automation is very important. Once again, I'll show you this video where you can see partial automation. He's holding the box open. The collation is happening with the robot. It's picking up 6 bottles there, another 6 bottles there. Now a dozen bottles are taken. He's holding the cardboard box open. Now we could have done that automatically, but the cost would have gone up. We've explained that before, right? So partial automation is a fantastic concept for you to get started. Put one robot in, 20 lakhs, let's say, and get started. So affordable and can be done. And then there's the concept of flexible automation, which only comes with cobots. So this is a pharmaceutical company. They make, nail polish and those kind of things, Coty. And they have about 12 presses that they had to handle. And so they would have had to buy 24 robots for this. But instead, they bought 4 robots. And these 2 robots, UR3 and UR5, I don't know whether you saw that, it's on a cart, right? They move the cart to the location that it's needed, okay, onto the press, and then it's working. In other words, based on demand, I can move my cobots to where it's needed, right? So job shops which don't have continuous production get a lot of benefit from this. Today I got a big order there, I deploy my cobots there. Day after, the orders in the other building, I can just take the cobots and deploy it at the other building. Okay? You can never do that with the robots, but cobots allow you to do this. Okay? So once again, you'll see here in a minute, there. They bring the cart to the machine with the 2 robots on it, the UR3 and a UR5, 3 kg robot and a 5 kg robot. Then they locate the cart on the ground. There's the locating pin. Once they put the locating pin, it goes about doing what it has to do. Okay. So he's talking about how he could never have afforded this project. This is the engineer who did the job. And in fact, trust me, all he's saying is that I could not afford this project, but now since I can move the robots around, it became affordable and I did the project. So here's a testimonial in Dell in Chennai. You can just read through this very quickly on the reliability of Cobots. It's gone through millions of cycles in this particular case, where it picks up servers and puts them in a box, and it's a true partial automation where there's a human being. The Dell server is picked up by the Cobot. The human being puts the two end caps, the styrofoam end caps, so which protects it in the shipping process. And then the entire assembly is lowered by the Cobot into the box. Okay. And this has been, so he's very happy with this, the plant manager. And he has now, there's 10 Dell plants around the world. What he has done in Chennai, people are replicating that. Okay. So it's a very proud thing that somebody is doing it in India and they're replicating. So now the question is, somebody asked, what else can Cobots do? Okay, so here's your answer. Cobots can help you with lab analysis, where it's repeatedly doing something, or we're touching a touch pendant. We do Fitbit analysis, we do touch screen analysis. All that is being done in labs. Unilever uses it, for example, for all kinds of their soaps and stuff like that. Machine tending, I think you've seen enough videos on that, loading and unloading a CNC machine. Assembly, I've shown you the assembly of those bathroom fixtures. Pick and place is pretty standard, from a conveyor to something. And quality inspection, I've not shown you much quality inspection, so I'll spend some time there. Screw driving, I think I've shown you. Injection molding, I've shown. Welding, I need to show. Gluing, dispensing, packing and palletizing. Okay, these are the major applications of a Cobot. So I'm now going to see who all are awake, and I'm going to run poll question number 2. Okay, and the poll question number 2 asks, what kind of job are you thinking of automating with Cobots? Now you've got some ideas, so just so that we can understand, are you looking at assembly or packaging or palletizing or gluing or any other kind of application, so that we can address your needs as we go along. So take another 15 seconds to answer this. Okay, last 10 seconds to put your votes in. Okay, I'll end the polling now and I'll share the results with you. Interesting to see that assembly is the largest need. People felt that, I think maybe I showed you a lot of that video, the assembly, but maybe you have a lot of assembly needs. Nobody is talking about gluing and dispensing. Interesting. Machine tending, a few people. Packing and palletizing, a few. And quality inspection is large. We have not talked much about that. So maybe we should spend time on quality. And there's other, which is a good 16%. We'll try and understand that. But thank you for sharing. So we will talk about inspection, palletizing, some of these things that you're interested in. Okay. All right, moving on. Here is an example of various welding type applications, okay, that Mo Flores is attending today. So you can see in this case, I'll just turn the volume down on all automation. So on the top left is an arc welding example, how the Cobot is being used for arc welding by one of our partners, Megatronic. Bottom left, this is with Fronius. We're actually doing some kind of an assembly application. So let's say you needed to do assembly and welding of parts right through the night, unattended, right? So notice a tool is being changed. The part is now being picked up, whatever that part is. And then maybe the assembly requires screwing and drilling in one location and welding in another, right? So it's taking the part, it's now Okay, putting it in a fixture where certain application is happening. Now it's taking another part, suction gripper. Okay, so putting it in the other fixture, clamping, and then now it will go change its tooling and pick up the Fronius, the welding gun. So MIG welding, TIG welding, resistance welding is another common one. Okay, so bottom right, you can see Universal Robots does 40% efficiency increase in welding application. This is resistive welding that they're doing on the right-hand side. Okay. So by the way, if you're interested in this, there are about 100 videos on welding. Just type in Universal Robots welding in YouTube and the videos will show up. Okay, so all these videos I'm showing are available in the public domain. Okay, you just have to type in Universal Robots SME in India, let's say, you'll find it. Okay, in YouTube. So that's resistive welding on the top right. So different types of welding, and there are many, many more, right? So CNC machine tending. So here's an example. Now I know Mr. Chandramouli is very fond of Fanuc, so I'm showing some robo drill machines here, where the cycle time is very low, and a collaborative robot has been put on rails, and it is actually loading and unloading these maybe 16 machines or 8 machines, whatever per row. Just one cobot is doing the loading and unloading of the entire line. Okay. So different types of, many examples of machine tending that I've got, but for interest of time, I'm just going to move on. And I want to show you this video.
जमशेदपुर में हम लोग 110 सालों से रह रहे हैं। आज हम लोग जिस फैक्ट्री में बैठे हैं, इसका नाम है न्यू इंजीनियरिंग वर्क्स। ये फैक्ट्री हमने 1996 में खरीदी थी। 2 सालों तक मैंने पर्सनली प्लांट में मशीन चला के सीखा कि क्या प्रोडक्शन होता है, कैसे प्रोडक्शन होता है, और हमारी एम्बिशन यही था कि एक दिन हम भी आज के दिन वर्ल्ड क्लास मैन्युफैक्चरर्स बने। कॉमर्शियल व्हीकल का डिमांड बढ़ते जा रहा है, तो हमने सोचा कि क्यों नहीं टेक्नोलॉजी को हम लोग यूज़ करें और मशीन खरीदने के जगह हम लोग रोबो खरीदें, ताकि हमारा ऑटोमेशन भी हो जाएगा, कॉस्ट पर कंपोनेंट भी कम हो जाएगा और हम 24 आवर्स अपनी मशीन को चालू कर सकते हैं। एक दिन पता चला कि यूनिवर्सल रोबो जो कि ह्यूमन फ्रेंडली है, वो भी एक रोबो है जिसको हम लोग यूज़ कर सकते हैं।
It's been 1.5 years since we've been using UR Cobots, and it's been a great experience for us. I still remember when I saw the Cobot for the first time, I told my dad, this is what we need for our components. We have 2 divisions. We have like a small component division and a big component division. And for the small component division, I think there's no better robot in the country than UR Cobots. When you're an SME, land is extremely valuable for you. Imagine putting these huge robots in your factory which take up so much space. You need to put a fence around. Instead of 6 machines, you will only be able to put 2 machines or 4 machines at max. But in case of UR robots, it can be fit into the space between 2 machines that you have in your factory. You just put it there, plug and play, and you're good to go.
मैंने ये देखा इस रोबो में, जैसे आप एक स्मार्टफोन यूज करते हैं आराम से, कोई परेशानी आपको नहीं होती है, उस तरह इस रोबो का यूज करेंगे, कोई परेशानी आपको नहीं होगी। ये एकदम स्मार्टफोन की तरह है। प्रोग्राम आपका इजी है और सेटअप भी इजी है, और बहुत लेस टाइम में आप इसको आराम से सेटअप कर सकते हैं।
जब मैंने न्यू इंजीनियरिंग वर्क में ज्वाइन किया तो मुझे इस काम के बारे में कोई आइडिया नहीं था। मैं धीरे धीरे काम को सीखी, सिर्फ जॉब लगाती थी, निकालती थी, बस मुझे यही काम आता था। फिर उसके बाद मैंने यूनिवर्सल रोबो भी सीखी चलाना, और ये मुझे चलाना बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
हम लोग अगर आज मान ली रोबोट में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, तो मैं आदमी को बेकार नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं उन लोगों से और अच्छा काम कर रहा हूँ, जैसे क्वालिटी, CMM, इंस्पेक्शन, उनको एजुकेट करना, इससे अच्छे काम में करना। आई कैन एक्सप्लोर मोर बिजनेस। करीब 40% हमारा ग्रोथ है। सपोज देर आर कंपोनेंट्स वर इन लैक्स, सो हमको बहुत सोचना पड़ता था कि हम 24 घंटा कैसे चलाएं, तो वो मैं चला पा रहा हूँ। तो ये हमारे लिए वाइबल भी है और प्रोडक्टिविटी भी हमारे हो रही है।
They are actually cobots, collaborative robots as you call them, which work side by side with my workforce on the shop floor.
हमारे जमशेदपुर में कम से कम भी 1000 SMEs फैक्ट्रीज़ हैं और मैं हर लोगों को जो कि इस इंडस्ट्री में हैं, मैं उनको एक ही रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि सब रोबो लगाएं। और रोबो लगाने के लिए सिर्फ कॉस्ट से डरे नहीं, हर आदमी को चाहिए कि वो इसका कंपैरेटिव कॉस्ट का कैलकुलेशन करे कि मैं क्या इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ और मुझे इसका क्या रिटर्न है। और मैं अपने यहाँ देखा हूँ कि जो इन्वेस्टमेंट हम करते हैं उसका ROI बहुत अच्छा है। एक रोबो लगाने के बाद हमने 5 रोबो और लगाए और फ्यूचर में भी हम और लगाने की सोच रहे हैं। आप 10 अच्छे कंपोनेंट बना सकते हैं, 100 अच्छे कंपोनेंट्स बना सकते हैं, लेकिन आपको हजारों में और लाखों में अगर बनाना होगा तो बिना ऑटोमेशन और टेक्नोलॉजी के संभव नहीं है।
So I think that's probably the best example of a SME in India making use of this technology. So increased capacity, quality, throughput, 24/7 operations, small footprint. You know, in some cases less than 1 year. In the SMEW case, you saw that, you know, low volume, high mix production environments are supported. So these are some of the business benefits. You know, you're empowering your worker. You're not just reducing your worker to simple pick and place. You're making him a cobot operator. Okay, he's learning higher skills, right? So these are all the benefits that that come out of a decision like this. And here's a quick calculation that the new engineering works people shared with us, that they were running the machine 3 shifts, times 10,000 rupees per employee times 12 months with 10% increase every year. So if they had continued with the way they were going, their cost for that machine would have been 10 lakhs, 11 lakhs, and 13 lakhs, year 1, year 2, year 3. But since their job was 30 lakhs, okay, and 30 lakhs they borrowed, so they had to pay 15% interest. So every year they were paying 4,50,000. Including the depreciation expense of 4,50,000, that sum is 9 lakhs. So with labor, they were paying 10 lakhs. With the machine, with the robotic system, they're paying 9 lakhs. So there's a positive cash flow from year 1, okay? Then you add the other benefits that they got in terms of productivity and quality, because they got 21 hours of operation of the workers, but with the cobot, they were getting 23 hours, okay? Then they had third shift availability, some quality issues they were having in third shift where people were not operating the machines correctly, festive periods where people were not coming back to work. But all these things put together, basically in a few years, their savings was something like 36 lakhs. Okay, their investment was 30 lakhs. So this was the calculation that this company shared with us, where they put in 1 cobot and immediately after that, they continued with 6 more cobots, right? And they're making parts for commercial vehicles, you know. So one of our partners is BFW. They make these turning machines, etc. So here's an example of what they've done for one of their customers. You know, they've made this little mounting station for the input parts, and they've got 2 grippers, so they're loading and unloading automatically. And they have built this little device, you know, for turning, automatic parts loading and unloading. Okay. All right. Here's an example in L'Oreal. Again, I'm maybe running out of time, so I won't go through this. But this,
we did our ergonomic risk analysis. We found that
this is a job done at L'Oreal in Pune. I've already talked about it. It's doing the palletizing. You know, it's putting boxes in a pallet. Okay. So, and this is, you can see the operators actually manually picking up the robot and moving it to a different line. Okay. Just take out the screws. This is a UR10, so 2 to 3 people are required, and they just carry it to the other location and set it up there. Okay.
Scandinavia, one of Northern Europe's leading food factory in Skina.
Box erection. Okay, so the food products. Okay. Again, for interest of time, I'll take you to one which shows many different applications in one screen. Okay. Top left, you can see it's handling glass. So a cobot can be that delicate. Dispensing application where I'm actually dispensing glue, you know, for the windshield before it's fit onto the, in this case, a Ford vehicle. Inspection, where I've got a camera hooked to the cobot and it's now looking at the sidewall. It's looking at the treads, okay? Bottom left, Mr. Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world with haptic gloves. He's controlling the robot remotely. Okay. okay, just to show how this technology can work. So it's very big in R&D type projects. Let's say I'm handling a COVID patient and I want to do it from a remote location. That's one example, right? Middle one, bottom is Bosch, etc. And bottom right, as you can see, it's Airbus. Airbus is the customer. They put a cobot on an AGV, and it's got a lot of a hopper of screws, and it's doing the automatic screwing on the wings of an aircraft, Airbus 380 or something like that. Yes. Okay. So that's in the R&D center of Airbus. Many more examples that, once again, because of interest of time, you can just see an interesting one here where the steam ironing is being done by the cobot, but the folding, which is difficult to do, a robot is not able to do folding, is being done by human beings. Okay, so 4 different shirts are being ironed by the cobot in turn, whereas the folding application is being done by human beings. Okay. Polishing, bottom left, you can see automatic polishing. A lot of labor is used for polishing in India. Okay. China, they've automated this completely with cobots. We're slowly starting here in India, buffing applications, etc. Nowadays with COVID and these vial handling and automatic filling of prescriptions and all that, you can see an OEM machine is being developed. There's 2 cobots, one holding the vial in place, as you'll see in a second. And whatever that thing is dispensing, it's dispensing into that, measuring, and the other cobot then picks it up and takes it to the capping station and shipping. So 2 cobots working in tandem, connected through Ethernet, right? So they can work hand in hand with each other. Oh, another assembly application, I would say. Okay, textiles. Many different examples in textiles that you can see here. Bottom right is not textiles, it's actually a retail application where they are using a cobot to actually demonstrate shoes in the window of a retail store. Top left, you can see it's making t-shirts. The cobot is taking the cloth and automatically the stitching is happening. So people in Bangladesh and in Sri Lanka are very interested in applications like this, right? Bottom left, I think it's making some kind of putting 4 sections together. The cobot is doing that for stools. So much research is going on all this, textile applications, I just want to give you a sampling, just so you have an idea. This is by no means detailed. If you have electronics, our own mother company here, it shows you many examples of loading and unloading electronic boards, single boards. So for testing applications, somebody said they were interested in inspection. So picking up PCBs, loading it into a testing machine, unloading it when it's done. It's all unnecessarily work which labor does today, right? But there's no value add to it. It can easily be done by a machine. Use labor for higher quality, higher value add stuff. Okay.
Service.
One of my favorites is this slide. It shows all women working with cobots. So we are definitely assisting with women empowerment in many SMEs around India. The one on the top right is AuroLab, where they make these lenses that go in your eye, right? So maybe in the Q&A section, I'll talk a little bit about AuroLab. Okay. It's used in neurosurgery, bartending, physiotherapy, just various. So I think you get the idea. Oh, this is one of the best inspection applications. Notice that this is BMW cars. On a cobot, we've put some cameras with a laser scanner. It's doing the gap checking. It's checking the gap of the car. Notice there, the laser is looking at the gap and yep, checking it up. The whole, and there's 4 robots. There's one on each side of the car, two on each side of the car. Front, back, and here it says everything is green. If one of them is orange or red, it goes into rework, right? So here's a typical example. Even an Indian car company, we can't name them, and Delhi is using this for final inspection. When the car rolls out of the assembly line, they've got 2 robots with 2 cameras doing about 128 checks. Is the radiator cap on? Is this tightened? Is that in place? Is the dipstick there? All that is done before it's This is R&D facilities, very popular with people like TCS, universities, because they're doing R&D, they're showing how their Industry 4.0 labs are being used around the world. You know, so this example of TCS, they put it on the web. That's how we got it. Another example of R&D at Mercedes-Benz in Bangalore. They're using this, notice on the right, these are the 4 robots which simulate a Benz car, right? It could be an S-Class or a C-Class. And the position of the mirrors is held by the cobots. And the engineers back there, they actually write the software to do the self-parking of the car. Okay. So after the software is written in Bangalore, it's sent to Germany, it's put on the cars, and the high-end Mercedes-Benz, you hit a button, it does the self-parking. Okay. All assisted with cobots. Okay. So very, very interesting. This is a customer who's using cobots for 10 years now. Notice it looks slightly different. Our first model that we sold 10 years ago, it's still running, loading and unloading his machine, you know. We also have a program called UR Plus, which allows us to connect third-party devices to the cobot. You know, so let's say I want to pick up a part from a CNC machine. At the same time, I want to do gauging. I want to check the ID and the OD while I'm picking up the part. Well, we don't do that, but one of our third-party companies, part of the UR Plus program, has developed a fixture to do that, or a gripper to do that. Okay, like that, we have over 200 parts, 2D cameras, 3D cameras, jackets, pneumatic cylinders, 7th axis, etc. available. Okay, this is something you can use today. If this is of interest to you, go to our website, click on Universal Robots Education, and go to UR Academy. Free class. There's 9 modules. You'll learn how to set up the tool, create the program, you know, how do I interface, all that stuff. You can even get a certificate at the end, all free of cost. Okay, simulation software available online, free of cost. So all the excuses to get started are gone. It's just the will to go ahead and learn, right? Go on to the education, do the academy, download the simulation package, get started on this. Not a single cent of investment. This is one of the top 50 smartest companies by MIT. We're very proud to be on this list along with people like Apple and Tesla Motors and IBM. You'll never see a KUKA here, you'll never see a Fanuc here, right? These are older technologies, older companies, but you will see Universal Robots, okay? So with that, I think, last slide. Whoever uses cobots have become heroes. Like in India, in Sandvik, this gentleman put in a cobot, he immediately got an Asia Pacific award. You know, in Mahindra, the cobot was put for all kinds of things. The plant managers on television now showing how the cobot helped him in his productivity and those kind of things, and he's now promoted from there. Bosch had told us not to share this thing, but they themselves have gone to Deutsche World and publicly announced that, hey, I'm using cobots very effectively. And here Mr. Rajendra is talking about how he has put cobots. So whoever has used cobot, Mr. Kejriwal from Dell, he has put a cobot in. We have helped him do that. He is now a hero in 10 different Dell plants around the world. Yeah. So if you are looking to do something constructive for your company, talk to us. We can help you be very successful. Okay. Here are global leaders with our cobot. You know, Angela Merkel. This is President Xi Jinping using it for some acupuncture stuff. This is Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan with me at, forgot some event in Delhi. This is the Danish ambassador. You know, we're pouring him a wine for
this or complicated platforms to perform a repetitive repair.
How would you like this job? Because we're talking to Skill Council. If you had this job, how would you like that? Up there, 200 feet in the atmosphere, you know, servicing turbine blades, right? Well, some intelligent engineers like you with certain skills in cobots have developed a cobot with a camera on there. It is now looking at, hey, these are the plies that need fixing. It's got a welding gun on its back. If the blowhole is clogged, it will actually remove the clog because the camera will feed signals back to the remote control tower, right? And here is an example of ingenuity, right? A job which was very difficult, engineer has taken it and used a cobot to do that difficult, dull, dirty, difficult, dangerous job. Okay. In this case, there was no social distancing, but Okay? So if there's anything you've taken back today, last slide, imagine that a cobot is part of your toolbox. Okay, it's not a fixed robot that's going to do one thing only. It's like your drill, it's like your wrench, it's like your hammer, right? It's part of your toolbox. You can make it do dispensing today. I can make it do welding today, tomorrow. I can make omelets the next day. Okay, I can actually do pick and place in my factory the third day. Okay, it's a tool in your toolbox. With that, I will turn it over to back to Mr. Chandramouli for question answers, and contact details are on this slide. Mr. Chandramouli, over to you.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Every time I attend your program, I learn afresh.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think Adya and Harsh have been compiling the questions.
Okay.
Because I lost half an hour worth of questions when my internet went off.
Okay.
But before Adya and Harsh ask, I just have one question. I had 4, but 3 you already answered in your presentation. The question I have is, while you have a ready-made academy for training, on behalf of Capital Goods Skill Council,
yes, sir,
we would like to have a theory and practice kind of session. And those who are listening today, 60 people are still listening, and they belong to several subsectors of Capital Goods Skill Council. We would like to do immersive training in the months to come. Will Universal Robo be able to assist us on doing that?
So certainly we have, like I told you, we have skilled trainers that's available. We have curriculum set up, all that is there. So we would be happy to do a train the trainer, right? To take one of your instructors or trainers. If you need a cobot, to assist with the training, we can help you with that, certainly, right? What I can't commit is like to have somebody there for a month or a week or something, because these guys are doing servicing.
We are only talking about, you are absolutely right. Training the trainer.
Yes.
Is a beautiful thought.
Yes, yes.
We are only talking about an online to start with during the COVID regime.
Yes.
And we are having alliances with the Samarth Udyog centers.
Okay.
Capital Goods Skill Council is aligned with Samarth Udyog centers.
Yes.
So we would like to leverage the synergy between Samarth Udyog centers and Universal Robo and the Capital Goods Council.
Okay.
To look at how do we take this education forward.
Yes.
For universities, for upskilling of existing employees and so on and so forth. So in principle, we are not talking about any commercial matters that we'll talk separately.
Sure.
The second major question is unemployment. Since Kobo is virtually doing most of the activities of a human being,
right,
even though it is replacing for dull, dirty, dangerous, difficult areas,
right,
the unemployment, will it be adversely affected or will be favorably affected?
Okay, that's a very good question, and it's a double-edged answer, right? So let me, if you don't mind, I'll share my screen again because I would like to show something. Yeah.
Slide when I was not in the internet. Yeah.
Okay, so I will answer this. Yes. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll answer this with this example where top right is Madurai, and this company is called Aurolab. You all may have heard of the Arvind Eye Hospital.
Yes.
They make lenses that go in your eye, for glaucoma and all the intraocular lenses, they call it. Mm-hmm. We're very proud to be associated with this great company because, I mean, it's make in India, but they make so well in India that 150 countries are now importing their product, right? Mm-hmm. You can see these girls, they're about 18 to 20 years old. They've just finished high school. They are not robot programmers, but you can see this girl is holding the cobot in her hand. She's loading the CNC machine. This girl has the teach pendant, right? So in fact, if you look at a small video here, it will show you, yeah, you can see here the cobot, how it's operating. Beg your pardon? Okay.
Mr. Rajesh should switch off both video and audio, please. From beginning, I've been requesting him.
Yeah.
Mr. Rajesh, please switch off both video and audio.
So in this case, like I said, the machine is now loaded by the collaborative robot and unloaded by the collaborative robot. Now, remember, I'm making things that go in the eye, right? So even a small scratch or something like that, and the product is unsaleable, right? So let's talk about the business now, right? In the beginning, they were making lenses only for the Arvind Eye Hospital. Today, they are selling their lenses to 150 countries. Why? Because their productivity went up better, their quality went through the roof, and their price point is Indian pricing, not like Bausch & Lomb or Johnson & Johnson from the US, right? So 150 countries. So while they had about 10, 20 people to start with, this is about 7, 8 years ago, today they've got 700 people. Wow. So you might say, yeah, that, hey, I put in Cobots, I'm going to lose jobs. Well, do I want to lose 10 jobs or do I want to create 700 jobs? That's the question I have for people, right? Jobs at the low level, if you keep protecting jobs which are unskilled and which had very little value, businesses will be closing down in India, right? India can only be competitive if, and that's why this Make in India, I wish somebody had thought about make with quality in India. We must make with such good quality that everybody around the world wants to import our products. And so, I'm very proud to say this company, they used to make 150 lenses, today they make 10,000, right? They've created jobs.
Mr. Pradeep, since the time is running out, I'm just closing my question as follows.
Sure.
For the benefit of the audience and myself. As a volume of business grows, coming to the self-reliant India, ATMANIRBHAR Bharat India,
yes.
From the rest of the world is looking into India for investment and growth.
Yes.
From 150 lenses to 10,000 lenses, from 10 people to 700 people.
Yes.
So there is a scale happening.
Yes.
And the skill and speed and scale, the Taraka mantra, the 3 mantras of our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi,
yes,
is coming into play. That means we are not substituting people with machine, but the combination of people and machine. Ladies and gentlemen listening to me today and to Mr. Pradeep,
yes,
I think one day we have to close this debate and move on. The combination of people and machine multiplies the business for the India, the Bharat.
Yes, correct.
Rather than the same cake being shared by several SMEs and OEMs within the country. The cake itself is becoming bigger and bigger is what Mr. David is telling. Thank you so much, Mr. David, for that. Now I over to Adhya and Harsh to take up on the remaining balance technical questions, if any, on the, it is 6 more minutes, sir, please.
So I think Harsh has most of the questions, but I just have one that you haven't answered yet. So most of the industries in India are SMEs, and most of them have a hazardous working environment. How robust is UR, especially compared to Yaskawa, Fanuc, or ABB?
That's a good question. And, like I said, the robots are IP54 rated, right? So I'm not going to say here the cobots are going to work in every application. Some applications do require IP67, right? However, you've seen many videos now, typical machine shops, typical food and beverage places, excuse me, electronics factories, those kind of things, right? We are working, for example, our largest customer is Bajaj. Okay? Bajaj has over 150 robots, cobots that are running in their Chakan plant, Waluj. And if you look at the temperatures in the facilities there, it's like any SME. In Waluj and all, it's very, very high temperatures. So they are all rated for 0 to 50 degrees. It's interesting that the same question came from New Engineering, the guys who bought 8 cobots, the SME. He said, first he came and told me, yaar, ye to khilona jaisa lagta hai. I don't know if you understand Hindi, but that means he said, hey, this looks like a toy. So I said, okay, maybe it looks, because he had gone to Imtex and seen our cobot. I said, let me take you to a factory and you can see this toy working. I took him to TVS and I showed him how, day in and day out these were working. Today he's got 8 robots in his factory, right? So yes, it looks flimsy, but I've shown you where one of our customers 10 years later is using the same cobot, right? So it's not for all applications, certainly not where you've got water, underwater type applications, or there's a huge amount of forced water coming. No, it's not for those. But IP54, if you can survive with that, in some cases we have to put a jacket if there's a lot of dust and all that. But with 46,000 employed, we've now got a good understanding where these can work. And certainly it will work at MSMEs in India.
Sir.
Yes, yes.
Most of the questions has already been answered by Mr. Pradeep David during the presentation.
Oh, is it?
However, two questions are there. One says that in a palletizing application, how many cartons can a UR robot place in a minute if the carton weight is 5 kg?
Okay. So I will need my technical guy to do some calculation, but I'm assuming what you said, 5 kgs. So let's say I can pick up 2 5 kgs at one time, right? So my UR10 would then be deployed. I also have something called a UR16, 16 kgs. Then I can take 3 of your cartons and pick them up. So probably the gripper will weigh at least 1 kg, so that will take up my 16 kg limit, okay? So now I can take 3. Now, how many of these? It depends. What distance am I going? What height is this going at, right? So it's not an answer I can just shoot out to you. I'll need a little bit more detail. We are working with people like all the FMCG companies. You know, today, your toothbrush companies and your toothpaste guys, all that, they have the same questions like you. What is the cartons per minute you can handle? It's a very specific answer based on the size of your carton, based on the weight, based on many factors. So please get back to us. We will calculate and tell you the answer.
What we should do, Harsh, is the text box list with the names of people who asked. If you can, there is a method of transferring text box from Zoom. If you can do that to Miss Adya, then individual customers, they can answer then and there.
Sure.
But today the benefit is not for a specific customer. The question will be generalized to get benefit for all the people who are attending. On that, one question has come. Adya, I'm just reading the last question there. Can I convert a robo into a Cobo by using a sensor skin or something like that? I don't know whether it was already covered.
Yeah, people have done that. I think there are people in the market who have developed skins for robots and they've made it into cobots. So there's probably more R&D going on in this field than anything else that you can imagine. So to answer your question, yes, I think people have done that. They've done skins to make robots into cobots, and there's other technologies also people are trying. So yes, answer to your question is yes.
How about after sales service?
After sales service, yeah. So
for example, car workshop. Motorcycle workshop.
Yes.
Have you done anything in India?
Car workshop. No, we have not done. Workshop. No, workshops have not so far that I know.
Tinkering and painting. Tinkering and painting could be a.
Yes. Electric vehicles we are doing, sir. So where people drive in a car and they want the charging to happen, right? So with a cell phone, you actually ask for the charging, and then we bring a charging station with a cobotic arm. It will actually connect the electric vehicle charger. I've got a video on that if you're interested.
There can be a huge potential, Mr. David,
yes,
in what is called the unorganized sector, namely after-sales service market.
Yes, yes.
We will talk offline on that subject.
Certainly.
Because that is where National Skill Development Corporation is trying to build a lot of certified employment. What I mean to say, an unorganized sector has got uncertified employment. Millions and millions of people are not even captured in the LMIS of the government.
Okay.
See, if you have 130 crore population, 50 crore are the employable youth of the country, of which they say around 10 crore are in the manufacturing domain. But nobody knows there is another 20 crore in after sales service, refrigerator repair, car repair, and so on and so forth. And one, certifying them, number two, robotizing them, are the two things which can explode the market for Indian ATMANIRBHAR Bharat.
Okay.
I don't want to just substitute man with machine.
Yes. Yes.
For MRO, for example, MRO market of aerospace, we will take it up in another forum. MRO now, taxation has come down from 25% to 5%. And now the MRO leaders are grappling with this issue to ensure all the aircrafts in the world don't land in Sri Lanka, where the taxation is cheaper. No. Sri Lanka is doing big MRO. Malaysia and Sri Lanka.
I see.
With the help of Japanese and Germans and all, but it is landing there, very close to India. But no aircraft is landing in India for repairing. Very sad.
Okay.
So there's a taxation problem and a few other issues have been resolved now. Nirmala Sitharaman announced in the middle of COVID. I think COVID we should thank for some of the things. They've been clamoring for more than 10 years. Likewise, in every sector, Mr. David, there are some bottlenecks. But unorganized sector is not a sector at all. And therefore, I consider it is aftermarket.
Okay.
You know, at the end of the design to service value chain, we got a huge 80% potential waiting for Cobots in general and Universal Robo in particular.
Fantastic.
On that note, we are at 102. Harsh and Adhya, anything else? Very interesting question.
So there is one more question.
Please.
Is there any polishing application done before? For example, motorcycles, scooters, styling parts. Like there are going to be multiple planes. For that.
And Mahesh Dayani should close his video. He's just going for bath. Sorry. Now, I think polishing was already covered. Harsh, polishing was just alluded quickly towards the end.
Yes.
I'm sure any irregular shape is highly amenable for that particular video showed only a flat component being polished.
Yes.
And next time around, Adhya should put a video of an irregular shape being polished.
Sure, sure.
So they were asking the same question. Like if in case they wanted to do the polishing on multiple planes.
Yes, yes. So answer their question, absolutely yes. Polishing is a major part. In fact, car polishing is a big one. I have a very nice video on car polishing. Whoever asked that question, please send your email to Adya. We will send you a link to show you how we're doing the bonnet of the car and all that stuff. In fact, TVS, we're just doing something right here. So
in any case, when you put Universal Robo video car polishing, YouTube will supply that.
Yes, that is true.
You already mentioned that.
You're right. You're right. Yes.
What is the maximum payload offered by your Cobots?
It's 16 kg, sir.
I know, standardized 16 kilo.
Yes, 1/6.
But I remember in another forum you mentioned, sir, with appropriate grippers.
Yes.
You have done some experiments to go up to 32 kilos.
You're absolutely right. That's great. It's thank you for that. It's
I remember.
good point. Up to 30 kgs, you're right. We can do with something called a Cobo lift. Yeah. So we have a pneumatic gripper. There's a third-party company in our UR Plus forum, wherein with the vacuum gripper, you can actually pick up to 30 kg bags. And the Cobot is used for steering. So we're doing palletizing up to 30 kgs. Yeah. But it's not just with the Cobot, it's with a supporting equipment.
It is not a question, but a request.
Yes.
That in UR India or UR Global website,
yes,
if you can classify the various applications sectorally,
yes,
because human mindset is to, if I am automobile, I will look for automobile application.
Sure.
If I am FMCG or lipsticks, I will look for lipstick application.
Yes, yes.
Even if I'm making makeup, I will not look at, I will only look for lipstick.
Correct.
So if, at least FMCG, beauty and wellness,
yes,
automobile, aerospace, if sectorally, if it can be classified, if not done already, and both the application and the video thereof.
Yes, yes.
If it is in some kind of a platform, if it is available,
sure, sure.
I think it will be a great value addition for the people.
Sure.
It actually is like that on universalrobots.com. So if you go to case stories, you can filter by sector, region, and application.
I can see that because Scandinavian people are too good
in
doing things before anybody asks.
Yeah.
Right. But I have to ask you, the 896 training partners of Capital Goods Skill Council, sooner or later are waiting to be trained by you. We have to have a very strong roadmap.
Yes, my suggestion is please don't wait. Today itself, please go to the website, download the simulation package and do the UR Academy online. Get the certificate, right?
I know.
Once you've done that, that's the first step, and then we'll do the next, which is the online training.
What I'm saying is, see, there are 54 people still listening.
Right.
But how do we ensure that we ensure the 896 people are listening is one subject, because they belong to different sectoral aspect within the capital goods sector.
Right.
We have 96 qualification packs already approved.
Okay.
We request you to actively participate in the qualification pack of robotics and automation. Of course, it will be brand agnostic.
Sure.
We are not talking about UR or Fanuc or anybody. So we are talking about a content and curriculum development of world-class standards.
Yes.
To help the Indian ATMANIRBHAR BHARAT skilling with speed and scale and explode it to the 50 crore people waiting of which 10 crore only are in the organized sector, and the other 40 crore are either in the unorganized sector or in the service sector.
Right.
On that note, Harsh, if there are anything else, any last word from Harsh and Shalini? Yeah, Shalini is coming in the video.
Yes, sir. This is Shalini. Thank you, sir. I think it was a very wonderful and very interesting, enriching session. And here I would just like to add one point that Capital Goods Sector Skill Council, as Chandramouli sir has briefed, that we do world skills competition also. So we have added one more skill on robot system integration. So that's a skill that we have added. And for the world skills that is going to be held in Shanghai in 2021. So, you know, the plan was to this world skills competition to be held in 2021. But because of the COVID, maybe it might go to, you know, next year. But this is one of the skills that we have added into it. And we look forward for your support because this is a new skill, and where we would be looking for nominations from various technical colleges, from various industry, people who would like to, you know, present their skills, and there's a competition to it. So, Mr. David, we look forward for your support. They are partners, and we look forward to you being as a partner to us in providing experts, nominating juries, and also assessors, training. That's what we look forward for it. So it's a growing area, and I'm sure this is going to be taken to the world skills level also.
Sure, ma'am.
I think that's a brilliant point from Shalini. So we are talking about, while some more audience are still listening, it's important that they can also listen. The Capital Goods Skill Council is a non-profit organization, extended arm of National Skill Development Corporation, as well as Department of Heavy Industries and FICCI. Suffice to say, the qualification profile on the one hand, which is called the National Occupational Standards, to the World Skill Competition on the other hand, is a spectrum of activities which the Skill Council is handling, and in which we are welcome for Universal Robot to participate in whichever manner. And we thank you so much, Mr. David and Ms. Adya, Shalini and Harsh, for that brilliant session. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very rarely we can have a 1 hour presentation with 100 videos, which is not at all possible. I have not seen such a thing, because as the videos are going on, hi Harsh, Adya can come on video if he wants. As the videos are going on, the running commentary of Mr. Pradeep is going on. So salute, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
That is how your time management in 1 hour between what is seen on the screen, and therefore we look forward to more repetitions, and we are talking about an in-depth masterclass, followed by in-depth training workshop, immersive. We will discuss that subject offline, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
On that note, if Harsh is okay, we can close the session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.